This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat, that far. We keeping the foot on the whoop, the geeks. We keeping the foot on the whoop, the geeks. And like the Tibetan mastiff that I am, man. Like the Siberian tiger that I am, I'm applying whoop, unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts its pipes. Oh, y'all thought we was done? I'm getting on Deontay Wilder today, and I'm propping up Errol Spence. Look at what's going on, man. This is why He Knows Everything told you guys Malik Scott is not authorized, calculated, verified, and certified to train Deontay Wilder. He got Deontay Wilder bench fucking pressing. And Deontay Wilder has never fucking bench pressed. Bench pressing is not going to get Deontay Wilder the victory. Deontay Wilder does not need to get any stronger than what the fuck he already is. Right there, you can already see this guy's now calculated, verified, certified, authorized, and approved to be Deontay Wilder's trainer. He's training Deontay Wilder on sandy foundation, which leads to quicksand. Deontay Wilder didn't need to change up too much. All he needed was somebody that he could elevate into the camp. He just needed 2 additional people. A boxing technician, someone that was going to teach him footwork, how to move his feet, how to stay active in the fucking ring, because Wilder has a tendency to be stiff as fuck and be a very slow fucking starter. When I say stiff, he's not stiff by nature. Stiff in the sense of you can get up on Wilder for about 6 or 7 rounds before he starts really loosening the fuck up. And you could have a technician that can help him in that department. And then Wilder just needed a strength and conditioning coach. That's it. He did not need a fat motherfucker that he knocked out. See, personal training, certified personal training, health and wellness, it's a fucking look, man. The look is everything, dog. Aesthetics is the key. You can't be no fat motherfucker trying to teach Deontay Wilder how to bench press. Don't nobody give a fuck, even if you knew the technique of bench pressing. Everybody's at that moment looking at how you look. And if how you look doesn't represent discipline in your fucking life, it doesn't show that you're disciplined, then you're not authorized, you're not calculated, you're not certified, and you're not verified to be dishing out opinions, to be dishing out conversation, let alone to be training a world-class boxer. Deontay Wilder is on sandy foundation, which leads to quicksand. But black boxing community fan base is so-called variation, swine flu type motherfuckers. Motherfuckers that's fat as fuck. Looking like they about a banana peel away from the fucking grave themselves too. If they don't take care of themselves. Because heart disease, high blood pressure is a very prevalent thing in the black community. Motherfuckers are so caught up in eating swine and eating all kinds of sugared up barbecues and shit like that. And they're not taking care of their fucking health. And they're wondering why they're getting heart attacks at such an early, prevalent time frame. But my biggest thing is these are the people that are advising Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder's a world-class fighter. There's not much he needed to change. He has a God-gifted power. You cannot add to God-gifted power. But what we can do and help is we can help Deontay Wilder to be not so reliant on that God-gifted power, which is caught up to him, and to actually work on some fundamentals, and to actually work on some technique, and to actually develop certain shit in the ring that will offset his shortcomings when he cannot just solely rely on his fucking power to get the job done. Tyson Fury is an opponent that Deontay Wilder just can't rely only on his fucking power. Deontay Wilder's gonna have to use athleticism and explosion the whole fucking fight. The first fight, Deontay Wilder did the best he could fucking do. That version of Deontay Wilder beats Tyson Fury any fucking time. But even that version of Deontay Wilder still has some shit that's missing. And that's why the fight lasted as long as it did. Because again, it goes back to Deontay Wilder being a slow fucking starter and the fact that Deontay Wilder does not really let his hands go. Why did I say all of this? And how does this contextualize to Errol Spence? Well, Errol Spence don't have these fucking deficiencies. He don't have these fucking problems. He's a technical savant, a fundamental savant. I hear motherfuckers criticize Errol Spence and say he's so great, but he's basic. That means you're basic if you're saying basic dumb shit like that. That's the dumb, deaf, and the brain dead that say shit like that. That ain't my terminology. I heard the Black Authority say that shit, and I heard Boyce Watkins say that shit. But it's the truth. It's the blind, the dumb, the deaf, and the fucking brain dead that says shit like that. Because if you're using your corpus callosum, you're using your cerebellum, you're using your medulla oblongata, if you have neuron receptors, which is very pivotal in early onset of childhood, if you don't have this shit, he knows everything can't help you to have it. But if you have these things, these fundamentals, and they've been provided to you, one thing that's prevalent, one thing that's key, one thing that you will see, and it's going to manifest itself, is as simple as this: that you're going to see something as big pictured as fucking Deontay Wilder basically stepping up to the fucking plate. But Errol the True Spence, when they say he's basic, they don't understand how basic they fucking sound. Because everything about Errol the True Spence is what we call a tactician. That's why it's called tactical aggression. Everything about Errol the True Spence is expert level. That's why it's called technical punching placement. Everything about Errol the True Spence is a master. That's why it's called body snatching work. He basically mastered the 3 fundamentals you need in fucking boxing. Body work is so heavily underrated. Errol the True Spence mastered that. Technicality and fundamentals is so heavily underrated. Errol the True Spence mastered that. And the fact that you have to have a mental mind, an IQ in championship rounds. That's why it's called tactical aggression, technical punching placement, and body snatching work, the Levy-on-Top, the punishment style, infamously coined by He Knows Everything, formerly known as He Knows the Sport. That's bringing you that what, that heat, and that fart, and keeping the foot on the what, yeeks, and keeping the foot on the what, yeeks, and like the Tibetan mastiff that he is, and like the Siberian tiger that he is, he's applying what? Unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? Heat versus pipe. It's infamously coined by He Knows Everything because it shows you the completeness and the fullness thereof that's associated with a Errol the True Spence and the lack thereof of a Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is an incomplete fighter. Errol the True Spence is a complete fighter. Airfield fighters can only be airfield fighters if they are complete. What I said was so deep and profound. Only the real G's, the super real G's, and the ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets, they're going to get the message if they're paying attention and listening. So hear me, and hear me fucking well, or motherfucking well. Errol the True Spence is a complete fighter. Deontay Wilder is an incomplete fighter. You cannot be an airfield fighter and be incomplete. You have to be complete to be an airfield fighter. You cannot be the face of boxing if you're incomplete. You have to be a complete fighter to be the true face of boxing. There's what we want to believe, and there's actually what is. Men lie, women lie, the postponement don't. I'm dropping gems and jewels, man. This is going over a lot of people's heads, but if you ain't no 3-dimensional thinker, or even just a person that thinks reasonably and critically, you ain't gonna get this message. Or if you ain't paying attention to listening, or you 7 steps too slow, you ain't getting it. Bottom line is, men lie, women lie, postponement don't. Postponement told you everything you needed to know of why Errol the True Spence is the Spence era, and Deontay Wilder is the lack thereof of a fucking era. Deontay Wilder was always a close number 2 behind Errol the True Spence. That's why he always hated on Errol the True Spence. He hated on the Mikey Garcia fight. Go listen to his comments. He hated on the Sean Porter fight. Go listen to his comments. I've listened to Deontay Wilder. I've listened to the hatred that is spewed out of his mouth. The fact that Floyd certifies, authorizes, calculates, and verifies that Errol the True Spence is that guy and Deontay Wilder is not. It made Deontay Wilder feel some type of way, especially with the fact that Deontay Wilder was around just a little bit longer than Errol the True Spence. Because Deontay Wilder suffers that Raul syndrome. Raul thought he was the fist of the North Star successor, but he wasn't, because he was short-sighted. There was no way that the succession line was going to go to him. It was always going to go to the most complete person, i.e. Kenshiro, because Kenshiro is a complete package fighter. Errol the True Spence is a complete package fighter. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat two-teller fashion. The fact that Wilder and Fury has been postponed, and the fact that Errol the True Spence and Manny Pacquiao is being talked about since we've never seen before in boxing, is being talked about as dubbed as the biggest fight in boxing. It tells you something, and it paints a clear picture. It's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, But in its most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat fashion, simple as this, it reveals to you what he knows everything's been telling you from day one. That when it's all said and done, Deontay Wilder is what the fuck he is. A close fucking number 2. But Errol Spence is what the fuck he's always been. The era field fighter. Now Deontay Wilder has lost his number 2 status to Gervonta Tank Davis. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat fashion. I keeps the foot on the whoop. Knicks. I keeps the foot on the whoop. Knicks. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.